Hey guys, welcome back to my channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now today we're going to be doing one of our portfolio updates. I haven't done one of these in a couple of weeks. I honestly haven't made a ton of trades over the last 2 weeks in this account, but I did want to give you an update on the one that I made recently here, just so you guys can follow along at home. After that, I'll give you a full breakdown of my current holdings, how my portfolio stacks up, and what I have coming in the next couple of weeks. Now without further ado, let's roll the intro clip and get into today's review video. Okay guys, so to kick things off, I wanted to look at the total balance. So you can see here, as of close on Friday, this account was sitting at $21,271.16 Canadian. Now if you recall my last video on April 2nd, the account was sitting at $22,818. So we're down about $1,547 over the last 2 weeks, which equates to about 6.8% or about 7%. Now I will say by nature this account is meant to be high growth, and as such it does hold a number of riskier smaller cap stocks. A lot of them you guys are familiar with my penny stock reviews, but because of that you do see a little bit more volatility in these types of accounts than maybe a blue chip or large cap portfolio. Now that being said, the last couple of weeks has been absolutely crazy for a lot of these smaller cap stocks. They were really downtrending hard over the last 14 days. Thursday and Friday of this week, we did see some of the names return back. So the account balance did improve quite a bit, and we're going to actually talk about that as we go through some of the positions. Now, before we get into the actual portfolio review, I wanted to talk about the trades that I made in the last couple of weeks since our most recent update. So if I jump over to the executions tab here on the Quest Trade platform, you're actually able to filter by time range. And if I look at the last 2 weeks, you can see I made one buy and one sell. So the company I sold was Beyond Meat, which is obviously in the plant-based food space. Now I had 8 shares remaining in this account. I bought them for $127.88, and you can see here I actually sold them at a fill price of $134.86. So I did turn a small profit on this position, about $56 US overall. Now this Beyond Meat position was interesting because if you actually look over the last 6 months, you can see their share price spiked all the way up to a high of about $192. And actually if you look at an intraday chart, they were over 210. This was the day that all the Pepsi joint venture news came out, and I was actually able to unload about half of my position. So I originally held 18 shares of Beyond Meat in this account. I sold 10 of them off at $210, so I was able to make a good chunk of profit on those shares. And since then, Beyond has downtrended, and it's really down back to where it was in mid-January. If you pull out to a 1-year chart, you can see that it's been in this $130, $140 range all the way since July of 2020. So it is trading relatively flat on a long-term scale, and I really think that's because Beyond was hyped up for having first mover advantage in this space. They obviously got a lot of free marketing from all of their big fast food retail agreements, but because a lot of that stuff has really taken a hit with the pandemic here, I feel like they're starting to lose that edge a little bit. So for me personally, I figured, hey, you know what? I've made a good profit on the position overall. Obviously, these 8 shares is pretty nominal, but if I look at the 18 shares overall, it was a healthy profit. So what I actually decided to do was take this money, which worked out to about $1,080 US, and actually roll it into Tattooed Chef April 14th, 2022, $15 strike calls. So I was able to buy 2 call options on Tattooed Chef, 2 contracts at an average price of $5 US each. So that works out to $500 per contract for a total buy value of $1,000 US. So I was essentially able to just swap these 2 positions. And what I like about that so much is, number one, they're both in the plant-based food space. So I'm not losing any exposure in that industry, which I'm extremely bullish on over the next 5 years. However, I feel like Tattooed Chef at this point has a lot more upside potential than Beyond Meat. And if you look at their chart here, this is Tattooed Chef over the last month. You can see they actually bottomed out under $16 US, which is absolutely insane for this company. They're currently sitting at $17.50. They had a big run on Friday and Thursday. So with that gain, their market cap is now just under $1.4 billion. But what's even more interesting is if you zoom out to a 6-month chart on here, you can see Tattooed Chef was actually trading up near $27 in January of this year. So they're down about $10 per share from just a few months ago, and the company has announced a number of big initiatives in those months that makes me even more confident in this name moving forward. Now, I'm not going to go into the specifics in this video, but the two big things that I can find that push this company share price down over the last few weeks is number one, their CFO resigned, which could have been for a number of reasons, and honestly, it's not that big a deal in terms of overall company strategy and direction. And secondly, the CEO sold about 1.3 million shares. Now that is a big sell, but keep in mind the CEO currently holds 30 million shares of this company even after that sale. But for people who aren't familiar with Tattooed Chef, both of those could look like bearish indicators, and I think realistically people just got scared or spooked off and this stock sold off in a big way. So for me as a long-term investor in this name, this was a perfect opportunity to rotate some money in and average down on those call option contracts. Now if you look at the actual strike price here, I was able to get a $15 strike and I have about a year's worth of time. So April 14th, 2022 is just under 365 days until this option expires. So essentially what I need is Tattooed Chef to be trading at $15 strike plus my $5 purchase price. So I need this to be trading at least $20 US by next year and I'll break even. Anything over $20 is going to be profit for me on this position. Now in my head, I've already seen Tattooed Chef at $27 this year. I don't think it's unheard of for this company to go back to that price or even $30 in the next couple of months. And if that's the case, and let's say Tattooed Chef gets to $30 US, I'm going to make $1,000 of profit on each one of these positions. So for me, that would be a $3,000 total market value on a $1,000 initial investment. So a 200% return on this position. And if I were to get that same 200% return by holding my Beyond Meat shares, I would need this company to go up to about $390 to $400 per share in the next 12 months, which I definitely do not think is going to happen. So for me, this was a smart move to rotate that money and get a little bit more exposure into Tattooed Chef. So now that we've looked at the trades I made this week, I wanted to give you guys a quick high-level summary of my account. So this is a cool tab here in Questrade. You can actually go into My Accounts, then you go into the Reports section here and Investment Summary. This will actually give you a breakdown of your positions or allocations in your account. So as of April 23rd, 83% of my account was in stocks. I had about 16.5% in options in the dark green here, and I had just under 1% in cash. So this is a cool little feature for those of you who aren't super familiar with this platform, but a great way to kind of see your exposure in terms of stocks versus option and your cash position overall. Now if you click on the down arrow here, you can actually look at a securities breakdown. So this is the same pie chart, but this will actually show you position size based on the different securities or companies that you own. So again, for me, general rule of thumb in this account is I don't want to have any more than about 15 to 20% in any single company. So you can see my highest holding right now is actually Planet 13 at 13.5%. We then have Dropbox at 13, Valens at 9%, and so on and so forth. So if we now jump back into the actual account itself, I'm going to sort this by current market value, and we're going to look at my positions as of close on April 23rd here. So as mentioned, Planet 13 is my biggest holding. This one I'm up about 78% on the position. I'm extremely bullish on MJ, as most of you should be aware from my videos. This company has full US exposure. They're currently working on building out their LA facility or their LA superstore. So this is going to be their second location in addition to their Las Vegas, and this is scheduled to open early July. So I'm very bullish on this company. I'm not planning on selling this stock at any point in time, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where this share price goes towards the end of summer here. Next up is Dropbox. So I'm up about 35% on this position. Again, this one I'm extremely bullish on. I'm actually looking at selling some covered calls on this position as I have currently 100 shares. I've never sold covered calls in this account, so if I do, I'm going to make a video on that, but that should be pretty exciting. Again, not planning on selling these shares at any point here in the near future. Next up is the Valens company. So this is currently my largest position if you look at all of my accounts combined. In this account here, I have about $2,300 or 750 shares. Now you can see I was able to get in on this at just under $1.80. So I'm up 75%, and I actually only opened this position about a month ago. So this one's doing extremely well. Now the Valens company, in my opinion, alongside Tilt, is one of the most undervalued plays in the MJ space here in Canada. So this is a company that I'm extremely excited about. I have a price target on this of about $8 to $10, and I think this company is going to absolutely explode over the next couple of years. Now I may start to kind of day trade or swing trade some of these shares and try and average down, but personally, this is a company that I believe in tremendously, and I would highly encourage you guys to take a look at my deep dive review on the Valens company if you're looking for exposure in this space. So next up is 2 contracts on Dropbox. These are $20 strike calls with an expiration of January 21st, 2022. So they did qualify as leaps at the time I bought them. You can see I'm almost flat on this position right now. Dropbox has pulled back a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but I'm very confident in this position moving forward. And you can see the delta on this is about 0.83, so a very good chance that these will finish in the money. And I personally feel like this position is going to continue to move up over the next couple of months, despite some short-term weakness or pullback that we've seen in this name. Following that is Cresco Labs. So again, 100 shares of this. This would be another good opportunity to sell covered calls, although I'm not a big option trader outside of the New York Stock Exchange, just due to liquidity issues. As of right now, I'm down about 11% on this position. This is another one that has huge exposure to the US MJ industry, and this is one that I'm currently looking to average down on and potentially pick up about another 100 shares. I'm very excited about Cresco, and if you watch my video on CL, you can see that compared to some of the other big players like Afria, Canopy, Aurora, this is really undervalued in my opinion in terms of revenue to market cap. So this is another one to keep an eye on and that I'm currently looking to add. Now QBTCU and QBTC are both Bitcoin related ETFs or funds. Now Bitcoin had a pretty rough week. It's actually pulled back to just under $50,000 US. So both of these positions are still up tremendously, 230% on this one, 142 on this one. We're still doing very well on those. I don't plan on selling those at all. I'm planning on keeping those long term. I think Bitcoin, the supply and demand relationship there just makes for a very bullish long-term play, but we have seen some weakness in the short term here, and both of these companies did pull back over the last week or so, and as a result, the overall profit on both of these positions is down a little bit. I think at a high, this one was up about 300%, and this one was about 200% profit. Now, in between the two Bitcoin funds here, we've got Walgreens Boots Alliance. It's currently trading at $53. This one was up over $57 just a couple of weeks ago. They had some big down days in the last week. I think one day was down about $1.50. I'm personally not too concerned about that. I'm very bullish on this company. I do hold a number of Walgreens call options in some of my other accounts, and I am looking at averaging down on those. But in this particular account, these are just regular shares, so there's no expiration, and I'm happy to continue holding these. They also pay a great dividend, so this is a company that I'm really bullish on in the long run. Here's our new Tattooed Chef call options. So you can see as of close on Friday, these were trading at $5.30, so we're already up about $60 or 6% on that position in just 2 days of trading. So that's great, and I'm looking to make at least 100% return on this position if my bullish thesis holds true. Following that is Corsair Gaming. So this is actually a company that I've recently opened this position. I'm down about 10%. I personally am looking to add again to this company, but no plans on selling anytime soon. And as a long-term investor, I'm happy to see this share price pull back a bit because it just means I can continue to buy these companies on a little bit of a discount or sale. Now the last two positions in here are both Tattooed Chef related. So these are my actual shares. you guys will know that I paid just over $21 US for about 50 shares of this company. Now it's pulled back since then, which we just talked about. It's down under 1750, but again, not too worried. Overall, out of the stocks in this account, this is the one I'm down the most on. So I'm down 17% right now, which is about $183, and it currently represents 5% of my portfolio. And finally, I have 3 contracts of Tattooed Chef $20 strike calls. These ones have an expiration of December 17th, so they're a little bit shorter term compared to the ones we just picked up here with an April 14th expiration. These ones I am down considerably right now based on this recent pullback in Tattooed Chef. I was actually up on this position in the last review, so this is where a lot of my losses over the last couple of weeks came from. I'm currently down 57% with a $1,000 loss on this position. Now, in some situations, I would put a stop loss in on a call like this and maybe sell if I was down 30 to 40%. However, with Tattooed Chef, I'm very confident that this name will rebound quickly, which is what we've seen on Thursday and Friday this week. So I'm not worried about this one. It's definitely one I'm watching. And in the short term, it's a little bit hard to stomach. But honestly, if you look at the portfolio overall, we're doing very well, and we're up handsomely on this portfolio. Now, for those of you who haven't watched my previous portfolio update or portfolio review videos, I started this account with about $14,000 Canadian. I've since pulled out $6,000, so I currently have $8,000 of my own money invested here, and it's sitting at $21,000 Canadian. So we're up considerably on this account. I couldn't be more happy with the returns, and we're going to continue to document and report each and every trade made in this account in case you wish to follow along at home. Now that's it for today's portfolio update video, you guys. Please make sure you take a second to smash that like button. It really does help this channel grow. The goal is to get this thing over 1,000 subscribers by the end of May, and I appreciate each and every one of you who've helped me achieve success so far. On that note, if you're not already subscribed, please make sure you do so. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this portfolio, the companies that I currently hold, and your opinion on the Tattooed Chef Beyond Meat swap out that I did this week. And as always, you guys, make sure you have a great rest of your day.